Are old amps just better? Welcome back to Andertons TV.
Hello.
This is a nostalgic trip down memory lane for guitarists of a certain age, like me and Pete.
Yeah. 32.
You're 32, are you? You don't look a day over 29.
Oh, no.
Looking good, man. Yes, back in the 90s.
I work out.
Back in the 90s, when Pete and I were probably buying our first kind of proper, like, you know, maybe go gigging amplifier. The two amps that I remember selling loads of in Andertons, more than anything else, would have been the Marshall ValveState 80 Bosch and the Peavey Bandit. I vaguely remember, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I vaguely remember these were about 300 quid each, something like that. ValveStates were made in Milton Keynes, go baby. Pretty sure the Bandits were made in the US. I forget were Peavey based down in Mississippi or something like that?
I can't remember.
I don't really recollect
Made in the USA.
Yeah, I don't really recollect there being big kind of, you know, Far Eastern brands for guitar amplifiers.
Wasn't there, Roland did the little cube things, didn't they?
But that would have been Japanese, I bet, at the time.
Yeah, they were made in Japan. You know, the little orange cube and the white cube, the 60, the 80 and the 40. They were great amps too, man.
That might have come. That might have come a teeny bit later. I mean, I remember.
I think no, they were earlier, man. Like, they were earlier. Those little cubes. I'm sure they were, because when I was in school, I must have been like 14, 15. We had the orange cube, you know, with the pull switch on it for the overdrive and stuff. We had one of those little cube 40s.
Maybe. I think in Andertons we did a lot of Marshalls, a lot of Peaveys.
Yeah.
Every so often you might. No, I tell how it was. Marshall used to have a really strict policy about which shops could sell it and which shops couldn't.
Really?
So if you didn't have a Marshall dealership, you probably tried to sell Laney, you know, and they would have had their sort of solid state.
Oh, that was a good amp too, wasn't it? The old Laney amp. What was that?
It wasn't as good as the Marshall, though. We were a Marshall dealer, proudly.
I mean, that was my first. I had a one of the Ampeg SV something. You know, a 212 Ampeg.
Really?
That was my first real amp, but that burned out. And then that was my next, but I really gigged lots with that. So I'll tell you that story another time.
I don't really know what the point of this video is, other than it's
other than like and
nostalgic for me and
subscribe,
Pete.
because we want you to get to 1 million this year, please.
Nowadays, if you're a guitar player who's probably bought your first little gigging amplifier, either in the sort of any time really in the last 10 years or so, 10 or 12 years, the chances are you've bought a Katana. I mean,
and rightfully so.
Other brands do exist, but the Katana has been so dominant in that sort of 50 watt 112 kind of solid state category. So we thought we would chase down a ValveState 80 and a Peavey Bandit from that era. So thank you. I put a post out on social media saying, could I borrow one? Loads and loads of you offered up an amp that we could borrow. So thank you so much for everyone. But in the end, Marshall ended up tracking down a guy in Bath, I think, that had one of these, right? So
near where I am.
Thank you very much for getting that. And the Peavey has come again from a local customer. So thank you. And again, I really wanted the one with those sort of turquoise blue stripes on it. There are older versions of the Bandit and there are newer versions of the Bandit.
You naughty bandit.
But that's the one I kind of remember from the 90s.
This looks like a Cybertruck.
Well, isn't it interesting how that logo, for a while, looked incredibly dated, but now looks incredibly cool again. And this logo is one of those wonderful never ages logos.
And most people probably know from headphones or from little speakers, right?
I'm going to give you a guitar cable, Mr. Pete. Apologise for any popping here.
This is what most people know about
I think
Marshall now,
roll forward another 20 years and people will have headphones and fridges and mobile phones and rubbish and stuff with Marshall written on it, and they go, oh, I didn't realise they make guitar amps as well.
I think they do that already. I mean, these things are good, aren't they?
We're going to go through what do clean sounds sound like, what do overdriven sounds like. We'll try and talk a little bit about perhaps how the technology has moved on. And I don't really know what the conclusion will be at the end of this video. I mean,
But are we going
to drive the price of old solid-state amplifiers up through the roof, or is everyone going to go, do you know what? No, technology is good, progression is good.
Yeah. But look at the size difference. That's one of the things that really surprised me when I put the little one in the middle.
It's like me standing in a urinal with two.
With me and Taylor on each side of you, and that's you there in the middle. That's exactly how that goes, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, so the ValveState, we're going to start here. The ValveState is solid state, i.e., the most of the technology here is not valve. This is not Class D. This was Class D. I think Class Peavey were making some bass amps around about this time with Class D power sections, but the bulk of guitar amps was a traditional sort of,
transformer and stuff in it. That's a
bigger transformers. You can see the size of the cabinets are bigger. 1x12 speaker, but ValveState, hence the name, did have a preamp tube in ECC 83 in the overdrive section that there were all sorts of conspiracy theories about whether it did anything other than just glow, but whatever.
But that's ahead of its time, isn't it? Because that's what, for instance, the video we just did on the little
the Tone King.
Yeah, they've got those preamp valves in it now, and they're using it again to warm up the sound. I mean, I've gigged this amp so much.
Right,
in my day.
Clean channel has a clean and a crunch mode, a bass, middle and treble, and a gain control. And then over here we've got an effects loop with a mix, which we're not using.
Effects loop with a mix.
Spring reverb.
A real spring reverb inside it, man.
I think you're getting. This isn't from like the 1930s. The technology did exist in the 1990s to do stuff.
But compared to this today, I'm just getting excited about it because I had a trailer and I had that amp in it. I had my guitar in it and I had my ME5. And I had a little trailer on my bike that I was cycling around to do gigs. It just brings back all those memories.
Had USB been invented by this time? It must have. How did you connect your printer to it would have been like serial ports and stuff, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
there was absolutely no concept of USB or anything like that. Anyway, look, let's just hear this beautiful clean sound with some reverb.
So have you turned the bass up on that?
No, it's halfway. Would you like the bass up?
So I always tap the bass up almost full because I feel like... I'm going to keep that after this, by the way.
There's nothing wrong with that
at all. I'm buying it off Marshall. I think it's a great sounding
I'll pop it into its crunch mode. We'll see what that does.
Sorry.
No, I'm just literally, I have been transported back to me being 20 years old, working in Andertons at the old shop, or maybe in the new shop, I don't know, like that, but it was way smaller than it is now. And just every Saturday, customers coming in and me going, and this is what the crunch mode does. And this is how, it's just like...
Nobody was playing... No, they were probably playing that instead.
I bet there was a lot of Sweet Child of Mine.
There was. Like that.
Anyway, wow, what's wrong with that? Okay,
there's nothing wrong with it, man. Nothing wrong with it.
I think we should do the Peavey kind of next, because that was its big rival.
Yeah. I don't know why that got a bad rap, this amp. I don't know why people say it's terrible.
No,
because it's not terrible.
It's brilliant. I think the Peavey marketing angle was it was always marketed as this good value, safe, reliable.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was cool. And then they never really had big artists playing Peavey. I mean, that was, I suppose, a problem. I was just thinking the amp again, the other amp that we used to sell a lot of would have been the Fender, whatever it was called. So they would do like a 50 or an 80 watt 1x12.
What's it? I know which one it was.
It had loads and loads of bass end, which it couldn't handle. Like, as in, as soon as you turned the volume up, it would get a bit farty on the bass end. And it had a really crap overdrive channel. If I remember rightly, this was the solid state
never
one.
done good overdrive channels, though, have they?
Well, on valve amplifiers, they've never done high gain overdrive. Anyway, look, does that have any kind of a crunch mode on its clean
it does,
channel?
But this is all. So it's got bright, and it's got a channel. So it's got normal. It's got actually high gain, low gain inputs as well.
Okay.
It's got an effects loop. It's got a spring reverb.
There it is.
And it's got a lead and a gain here, and it's got these voicing switches, which is quite interesting. So you got like low, mid, high, and present. So all the things you need, but it's got this kind of voicing system, like that contour, which is it's a little bit like the Black Star. You know what I mean?
It is. It's a. So all the different gain modes are only on the lead channel.
Yeah.
So you've just got a clean sound on its clean channel.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that sounds fantastic. It's fat and
nothing.
full.
And you got that exact sort of snap. You know,
Do you know what? If you took what that cost when it was bought, and the fact that we're still using it now, and it's fine, right? That has cost you probably less than £10 a year to own.
It's not like you buy a car, is it? Like a brand new car.
It's just bonkers. Here we go. Now the Katana, this is the Model 3, the version 3, has obviously got way more functionality.
Yeah.
So we've got
with the apps and all that.
6 different preamp voicing. One of those is for an acoustic guitar. So I guess 5 different electric guitar voices, each with a variation. So 10 variants. And the idea that you can store now your channel settings, which of course you could never do with these. You just switch it from one channel to the other. So I guess on that front, from a versatility point of view, the Katana has more. The Katana has more than just reverb in it as well. So you've got, we'll accept that Progress has definitely got you more features. I'm not going to use the acoustic voicing for this. I'm just going to use the straight clean voicing. I'm not going to use the pushed voicing either. The EQ is pretty much flat and there's a little bit of reverb. So here we go.
It sounds like a Katana. It sounds great. I mean,
I need to do one after the other because, and this is obviously the intention of this video is not to tell you that everything old is better than everything new. What I'm hoping is everything new is better than everything that's old.
Yeah.
But it did to me feel somehow slightly more soulless, lifeless, if that's the right. But maybe that's just me. So Marshall, clean. Peavey. Boss. I take it back.
It sounds great.
It does sound great.
It is the king of that category of amps, you know. And for the price, what are they now? 2 something?
Yeah, still.
You know,
isn't that bonkers as well? That despite inflation, you know, and I don't think there's been a single year in the last 35 years where we've not had inflation.
Yeah. That you can still.
The price of a 50-watt solid state amplifier is arguably now less than what it was in the 1990s.
Yeah, but so these are made in China, right? And this is made in America, that's made in the UK. You know, they got spring reverb. I think there's something to say about the real spring reverb. I think...
Who knows where the Katana It will be made
if there's 245% on top of it in America,
we'll just
then
say
they're
it's
going to be
made.
expensive.
It's made somewhere in the Far East where labour is incredibly low relative to
and that's
the UK
that's
or the US.
that's what consumers want.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that will be expensive.
Well, it would be
It'll be 600-700 quid.
if you made that amplifier in the US or the UK, I'm sure you're right. It'd be £1,000 amplifier.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyway, whatever.
Shall we just try? You can't really drive the clean channel on that, can you? But we'll have a little 2-minute crunch on here versus maybe pushed on here. Okay, so this is literally the pushed channel on the Boss versus the crunch channel on the Marshall, starting with the Marshall.
It's more of a Marshall-y sound.
Yeah.
It's more of that little bit of a nasally thing. There's more low end in that,
the
isn't
Katana sounds great.
It sounds awesome.
Channel.
The Katana's a great amp. I mean, something should have happened in those 25 years, right? But still, the nostalgia for me is like,
just to
I'm
depress
dripping
you,
in it.
It's 35 years, not 25 years. That's how old we are, Mr. Pete. Were you even alive when these amps came out, Tay? You weren't even alive. Wow. Yeah, you weren't even alive.
That amp is older than you, man. That's depressing, isn't it?
It's in better shape as well.
It's actually that amp came with the switcher in the box
and the cover.
It come with cover with it. I mean, it's immaculate condition.
I mean, that we'll have to. Pete and I'll be dead by this time. But what we need to do is come back in like 2070 and see if a Katana still works. You know, it's just like
it will. You know, it will. There'll be cockroaches and Katana sitting on the planet once they've hit the red button.
Okay. Right. So
is there crunch on this? We just see.
Not really.
Because
no, I think you just got to go to.
Could you?
Sorry.
Right. So it is straight into gain sort of territory.
You could turn the gain right down on there, but you don't have the option. No, on the gain channel.
Oh yeah, I'm here. Yeah. So it's got this post and sort of lead thing.
I remember that. I remember Peavey stuck to this principle of never calling. They never used gain and volume or whatever. They always had pre and post, where it's like, and it was a real. I always used to sort of feel it was like a proper sort of sound engineer, like, no, it's not gain and volume, it's pre and post, you know, or in an American accent. But yeah, it did confuse people for sure.
You sound like you're from up north somewhere with a sweater on and a pipe.
Okay, so give us 2 seconds just to match these up in terms of levels and stuff, and then we'll do a sort of a medium gain run through.
Yeah.
Right, going to start again with the Peavey, I think, on a medium gain. So.
Like and subscribe, by the way.
Boss. Marshall.
I mean, it's 3 different brands of amps. There's
3 different flavours, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's still none of them sound bad.
No, I mean, I've intentionally...
Even after 35 years.
I think the Marshall and the Peavey, they want to go more.
Yeah.
Right? As in the more gain you dial in, I think the better they sound. I think maybe
they need to be loud as well. I feel like the cabinets just go, you need to turn me up, man.
But these nobody bought one of these amplifiers. This whole bedroom amp thing is a much more recent phenomenon. I think back in the 90s, you got to a certain level, and you couldn't plug your guitar into your PA like everybody does now with a little pedal. You know, you just had to have an amp.
It was real.
Yeah, it was real.
We played real music with real instruments and real amps.
Quite like that Peavey, you know.
And the Marshall. It's quite nasally, isn't it? It's got,
this makes me laugh.
It's almost like a tube screamer in front of it.
A million years before Blackstar even existed, Marshall had a contour control, and Peavey had
was it the voicing?
But they've got a voicing switch.
So the body thing here,
and particularly this contour. I think this is Blackstar's ISF feature.
I think that's
they've kind of claimed that they invented, and it just basically does the same thing. It's just like a notched EQ thing.
Try to do the notch thing, and then just.
Oh, what does it do?
I just want to see the voicing. Yeah, you've got so much more control than you
on
do.
the Marshall. It's messing around with the EQ, isn't it? And on the Peavey. Oh, there's some proper Dimebag Darrell scoop gain tones in there, aren't there?
This is stuff you're gonna use at all.
Yeah, you have the guitar, because obviously you're our resident high-gain shredder.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You crazy,
the guitars,
bro.
by the way, are all on special offer. Pete is playing the PRS SE NF3, which you can grab for $649 with a bundle of PRS accessories with it. And the Les Paul is the Epiphone Greenie.
Because we don't do videos without trying to sell you stuff, right?
Yeah, Epiphone Greenie has been reduced from $1,500 down to $999 and is one of the most beautifully specced Epiphone Les Pauls that you can buy.
Real American pickups in it.
Okay, we are drop tuned and getting heavy. So
heavy sax,
Peavey's had all its buttons pressed in. Marshall's now on overdrive 2, and the Boss is on the brown sound. So Peavey. Boss. Marshall.
There's something to say for the bigger cabinetry, right?
I was impressed with how much bass is on the Katana.
But still, there's something more in the bigger cabs.
Isn't that what, if you go up to the 100-watt Katana, you get the bigger cabinet, don't you?
Yeah.
So I still don't think they're quite as big as these, but...
no, they're not. They're not.
Play a bit, I don't know, just because... Conclusions, Mr. Pete, then? Let's go back to some clean sounds so we haven't got all the hiss.
Yeah, conclusions. If you got one of these.
I don't know, man.
But who has?
Katana's better, right?
Yeah, is it? Yeah, it is. It should be better. It should be better.
We've not even scratched the surface of what you can do with Katana if you start to plug your phone into it, or you can stream Bluetooth through it.
You can't.
You can with the.
Can you with that? Can you now? Maybe
it's a good question.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, with the
adapter,
okay,
you
so
can
buy
on version 3, but that's 40 quid, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can use that in all your Boss products.
It's smaller, it's lighter.
Yeah.
I mean, I've enjoyed, because I think the idea that old stuff... I mean, this doesn't sound any worse.
No.
even the Peavey, the standout sound on the Peavey, I think, was probably the clean sound and maybe some of the I'm not sure that I really liked the higher gain stuff. Although again, that might be a style thing. There probably is more of a thrashy metal thing that maybe it stands up really well for.
I mean, a Katana should win this. You know, we are talking 35 years down the line, so technology should have just gone better. But I don't think the other two are bad, and I think we were lucky to be a part of that transistor revolution.
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I suppose this is topical now with all of the tariff wars and everything going on like that. You can understand, you know, this was a time when, you know, a British manufacturer could make thousands of amplifiers to service, you know, a relatively entry-level product, and Peavey the same in America. You know, and now obviously, you know, your entry point for a British-made amplifier or American, regardless of what components are inside it, is going to be £1,000.
Yeah,
you know, if you want super affordable stuff, you have to find somewhere where the conditions are appropriate to make super affordable stuff,
and in huge quantities, because you know, how many of those have we sold just here?
I remember at some point or other when Katana was really at its peak, which I kind of feel actually now there probably is a bit more competition for Katana, but you go back like 5 years, it was like there was no real competition for Katana. And I vaguely remember somebody telling me at Boss that they were bringing 40,000 a month just into Europe. Just to Europe.
Now, Laney has gone back to making all their stuff, even the more affordable stuff in the UK.
That, I think, is a lesson that we should all learn. And I do feel it is. In fact, if there is a useful point with this, I do feel that what Katana has done is demonstrate that actually what guitarists want really is just a slightly more flexible version of this. Yeah. What they don't want is modelling and you know
apps and all that stuff.
And you know, like cloud-based stuff.
That whole app thing, you can have a little. You have to do a little sort of THR, whatever. You know, all those Moore, those things, whole tone or whatever. You got your app. That's fine for that. Yeah. But if people want something just easy plug into now.
I'm not talking every scenario. I just mean in this kind of like the 50-watt combo thing, people just wanted to pick it up, go, crunch sound please, you know, reverb, bit of delay, thank you. Please, you know, nobody wants to go, oh, where's my model of a Fender 1963 such and such, and I'll just change the global EQ. It's like, as clever as all that stuff is, I just think that what this amp and these amps have reminded us of is that's it. Can I just plug in and get 2 or 3 really great sounds out of my amplifier? Boom.
And also the size of these are so much more convenient to have in a small flat now.
So there we are.
You have your master and all that.
So I'm calling it now. It's the 23rd of April 2025. You can currently go on eBay and buy one of these or one of these for somewhere between 100 and 150 pounds. Let's see after this video comes up. What do they go? Do they go down because everyone's going, oh, rubbish, buy a Katana? Do they go up because everyone's going, wow, it sounds amazing?
But for me, it's the nostalgia of having that amp. It's just a part of my.
I love it.
My childhood.
I love it.
My childhood.
Well done, all 3 great amps. And Marshall, you know what I'm going to say to finish this video. You know what you need to do.
Update it a bit.
What you need to do.
Yeah.
No code, no MG.
Just that. ValveState.
What is it? What's my thing? Make ValveState great again. Mzvizga!
Make ValveState in the UK again.
See you later. Thanks for watching.